Game week 6 is here and it's time to lock in those FPL teams. Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan and this feels like a very important game week to get those decisions right, so let's make sure we do that. Guys, important message, as this is your final opportunity, your final warning to get the 50% off your fantasy football deal plus your money back if you don't win your mini league. Make sure you're signing up to Fantasy Football Hub and get access to all of their great tools, including the AI team rating tool, the transfer suggestions, all of the stats, all of the articles, the fixture analyzer, all of their amazing tools. If you are serious about your FPL, this is the best time of the year to get subscribed. Use the link in the description to get going right now. And like I said, guys, you're going to win your mini league. If you don't, you get your money back anyway. So everyone wins every time. Guys, make sure you're doing it. So casting our eyes back to game week 5, and it was a pretty decent game week for me. 74 points in a week where I wasn't expecting too much, considering I did have some Man City and Arsenal players playing against each other. But Henderson coming in clutch against Manchester United, putting off some great saves and becoming a real important player in that game. The double Liverpool defense with the clean sheets. Trent finally getting his assist, which we've been waiting a long time for. And even in midfield doing pretty well there as well. The only players that let me down really were maybe Isak and Vardy in the forward positions and Gvardiol in defense. Haaland captain came in clutch when everyone was captaining Salah, so very, very glad I stuck to my guns there. And I also got a huge amount of luck. I did start with Diogo Jota, but Rodgers got auto-subbed on after Jota played 0 minutes. So if I complain about being unlucky anytime in the near future, make sure you remind me of this game week, because I've definitely got a fair share of luck there. But that's definitely something that I need to remember going forward. Having a strong player on your bench, a strong attacker on your bench for when things do go wrong in your starting 11, puts you in that position to get lucky. So going forward, I'm definitely going to make sure I do have a decent bench covering attacker like Rodgers in my FPL teams. But we need to move on to game week 6, because a big green arrow hopefully is going to come once again for the new game week. And guys, if you have been enjoying the videos, make sure you do drop a like. It really does help out the channel so much, and do subscribe if you would like to follow along with my transfer moves and captains every single game week throughout the season. Now, game week 6 I'm really looking forward to. It's a huge week with a lot of people making some big moves, and it's more important that we get these right. The ranks are also very tight and close together. There's very few points difference between someone in the millions and someone in the hundreds of thousands, so it's tight and every decision is really going to count from here on. My 2 free transfers need to be used, but I need to show you what my team looks like right now so we can start discussing those transfers. So let's start off in goal, and we have still got Henderson. A game against Everton is probably one of his last good games before the run gets a little trickier with Liverpool and Spurs in the next 4. That's kind of tough. I do like these away fixtures against Everton and Forest though, and I do hope that Crystal Palace can continue their beginning of some defensive form that they showed against Manchester United. We know Everton is a good fixture if you're looking for clean sheets, historically at least. In defense, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold against Wolves. Absolute lock in my team. He is creating so much still every single game, and when you have such great finishers on your team, then any chance that you create is going to have a good opportunity to lead to assist points. That's what we're seeing with Trent. Bonus points are always going to come his way as well if there's clean sheets and attacking returns, because Liverpool are really showing some great defensive form. They really are, and over the next 2 game weeks you do expect that to continue. So the party of Liverpool clean sheets will hopefully continue with Robertson in my team as well. Again, against Wolves, Robertson hoping for a little bit more in ways of attacking production from him. Haven't really seen too much of it so far this season, but we do get the occasional opportunity, particularly when teams sit back against Liverpool. Robertson has an opportunity to step up and be a bit more involved in play, and against a team like Wolves, I wonder if that could happen a little bit. And my final defender is Gvardiol, who has been a disappointment in game weeks 2, 3, 4 and 5, hasn't returned in any of those game weeks. But the thing is, Man City's defense are genuinely putting up some insane numbers over the past few game weeks, 4 game weeks, 5 game weeks. They are not even conceding more than 1 XG per game. It really is nuts, and how they haven't kept clean clean sheets during this run is somewhat of a miracle. Now, I say this kind of every year, but Man City just have a knack of conceding that one odd goal, but the numbers look good, and I was looking through the projections, and we're not just talking about statistical analysis, but we're also talking about the bookies as well, and the spread market odds here as well, spread betting, and they are all predicting that Man City have the best opportunities for clean sheets over the next 6 game weeks. So if you're looking for clean sheets, a Man City defender could be really useful, which is why I'm kind of glad I do still have Gvardiol. Small concerns about minutes. We did see him rested a couple of game weeks ago, playing 45 minutes in that game. But going forward, I'm really hoping with these great fixtures that City have, we are going to see Gvardiol get a nice couple of clean sheets here and there. It would be really, really nice, wouldn't it? One more thing to note about Gvardiol is he seems to be getting more attacking with each game week. We're seeing him take more shots, we're seeing him create more for his teammates, and if that continues, then we might even be able to see some attacking returns during this very favourable run of fixtures for Manchester City. Saka is in my team already. A lot of people have needed to wildcard in order to get Saka in, or maybe use those transfers, but we've already got him ready for this Leicester and Southampton back-to-back home games, newly promoted teams, and huge opportunities. Saka rested for a half in game week 5, which was nice, played some minutes in the League Cup, and now I think the next 2 game weeks is going to be all about him once again. Now, when you've got someone like Gabriel shooting from those corners, going for someone like Saka who takes the corners is going to be really, really useful. Penalties as well, and the player with the best odds of scoring goals each game week for Arsenal, and the assists as well. He has been super consistent so far this season. I'm happy to just own him pretty much forever this season. I really am. Diogo Jota is next in my team, and given that he was rested in game week 5 and got an early sub this midweek League Cup game, scoring 2 goals in the midweek cup game, by the way, against West Ham, I do have to wonder, is he still a sell? Is he actually a player that you could maybe hold on to for this Wolves game? I do wonder about that one, but let's move on to Eze, and you guys already know what I'm going to say. I say it every video that Eze, his numbers are so good, he's playing well, he looks brilliant on the pitch, his team are creating chances for him, he's on all set pieces, he's going to be on some penalties, particularly if Mateta is off the pitch like he was for half the game against Manchester United. Everything is pointing towards points in the future for Eze. I know a lot of people who own him already are going to see him as a disappointment, but if you take that bias away, what you see is opportunity in a game like this against Everton. Now, that said, I definitely understand that Eze has to be on his final legs for me. Everton is a good fixture, and Eze is still looking fairly impressive individually, and it's been unfortunate to, not take that penalty, to have a goal disallowed for maybe an unfair, a disallowed goal in game week. Was that game week 1, perhaps? Really, really unlucky. Showing form in the cup games. I don't think that Eze is a bad pick. I feel like I've said this enough already, but after Everton, we have Liverpool, Forest away, and then Spurs at home. I don't love these fixtures, to be honest. So this is possibly Eze's last chance to actually produce, do something with all of his numbers. And then, guys, I will finally concede defeat on Eze after that. But we do have some plans in place for that, which I will share with you. Smith Rowe coming off the back of some more good form, scoring goals, getting assists. That's what he's all about in this Fulham team, playing pretty offensively, which is very, very nice. So, yeah, we like that, popping up in the box, getting those returns. Forest is the fixture. I don't love this fixture necessarily, but I don't think it is a bad fixture either. So, yeah, let's see what can happen there. It's kind of a medium fixture, mediocre fixture, maybe slightly difficult given that Forest have been putting up some good defensive numbers, but he's a man in form, so I'm very happy to have him for this game week. And Rodgers as well, Ipswich away, great fixture against a newly promoted team, finally getting some returns in game week 5, and can he continue that run of form? I really, really am hoping so, because he's my only Aston Villa player as things currently stand. Moving up front, we've got Erling Haaland. Newcastle sounds like a difficult fixture on paper, and the FPL website lists this as a red fixture, a difficult fixture. I don't think any of us who have actually watched Newcastle play this season actually believe that. And we're expecting Haaland to go big and score some FPL points for us. I will not be surprised to see him score another hat-trick in this game because Newcastle, despite some very favourable fixtures, are giving up so many chances. They really, really are. And they haven't seemed to get things clicking yet. So Haaland, this is a big opportunity for him. Once again, an essential player. And my final player in the starting 11 is Isak at the moment. Man City is the fixture. He's also got a tough fixture against Chelsea coming up as well. I'm kind of done with Isak. I can't justify him anymore. He is too expensive. He is not performing. His numbers are poor as well. This is not like Eze where he's been unlucky. This is just a player out of form, straight up out of form, not even really getting the chances to score goals or get many assists either, really. So it's a really difficult situation where I feel like I just have to remove him. Everything is going against him. Now, maybe it's not his fault. Apparently, he is still carrying a bit of an injury, so that is going to affect his form a little bit. But for FPL, I can't keep going with that. So he is going to have to go at that price. It's not like Eze. It's cheaper price, better numbers. I just don't have the same faith in Isak, unfortunately, which is a shame because at the start of the season, he looked like an amazing pick, an absolute nailed-on, 100% must-pick kind of player, but he's just not that anymore. Let's go to the bench. Valdemarsson is going to stay rooted to his spot on the bench. Vardy against Arsenal away. He will have to stay on the bench as well. But I'm looking forward to bringing Vardy back into my starting 11 when players like Smith Rowe play Man City away. That's going to be a good opportunity for Vardy to sub in for me. Harwood Bellis, maybe some minutes risk here. And as for Johnson, well, the minutes are beyond risky at this point. They're basically non-existent. So thankfully, I do have 3 very solid starting defenders where I don't have to rely on those cheap bench defenders. So they can stay right there where they are. Other than Vardy, he's going to be the only player rotating in and out of my team after each game week. But guys, like I said, we do have 2 free transfers, or should I say we did have 2 free transfers because I have already made one of them. Now, here's the thing. This is what I want to talk about with some transfers because obviously, my team has 1 Arsenal player. Now, given that I'm not on a wild card, and I don't think I need a wild card, just want to put that one out there. I don't think I need a wild card. There is still a lack of Arsenal players, and ideally, I would have minimum 2. Now, a lot of people are saying you need 3. I'm not sure I 100% agree with that one. The next 2 fixtures, it would be great to have 3 Arsenal players, but after that, we've got Bournemouth, Liverpool, Chelsea. There are not so great fixtures for Arsenal coming up as well. So the triple up, I don't think is essential if you're not on a wild card. I don't need to rip my team up to get triple Arsenal in my team. And with the potential injury to Raya, we don't know for sure about that yet. I will try and keep you updated in tomorrow's video, but he could be out for this weekend, possibly. Not going to pretend to know anything for sure. Nobody knows anything for sure right now. Well, a few people have told me they know for sure, but I'm getting very conflicting reports, so I don't really want to say anything with certainty right now. But therefore, could we try and go a different route? Isak to Havertz. Could that work? Go double Arsenal attack, forget the defence. You can say, Dan, you need to get Raya into your team. Okay, if Raya is available, Henderson to Raya looks really obvious for me as well, if I can free up a little bit of budget in order to do that. And we've also got the Arsenal defenders. Now, Gabriel is obviously an amazing pick for FPL. We know this, but the defenders I have, I think, are also great. Trent, Robertson, Gvardiol, I would say that all of these players have similar, if not better, chances of clean sheets over the next 6 game weeks. Let's say 6 game weeks, because obviously the next 2, we know Gabriel, Saliba, they've got better chances of clean sheets. But that is not to say that Liverpool and Man City defenders can't match or come close to Arsenal defenders. So, yes, I don't have an Arsenal defender, but I can still get similar points to an Arsenal defender with what I've got already, if that makes sense. And yeah, I know some people will disagree with that one for sure, but Trent and Gvardiol in particular, I think they can match Gabriel. I think they can certainly match Saliba, so I'm not too concerned there. But Raya is obviously an upgrade on Henderson, so that is somewhere I would like to go if Raya was fit. But then we've got the midfielders, and Burmo is a player I would absolutely love to have. hint, hint. And obviously, Isak is a player that needs to go as well. The other players I like the look of potentially is Solanke. Really like the look of Solanke for a forward. So Isak to Havertz, Isak to Solanke, Isak to a Wood or a Calvert-Lewin would free up some budget to make some other moves as well. So there's plenty of options for me, but I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking right now. So the first transfer we have made already, Diogo Jota to Mbeumo, is done, but I'm thinking Isak to Havertz is going to be my other transfer, which would leave my team looking a little something like this. I've freed up some budget. We'll put 0.9 million in the bank. If we don't get any definitive Raya news, I don't think I'm going to go there. I don't want to take that risk. Henderson is fine against Everton, and it would require a -4 for me to make that additional move anyway. So is it worth it? Probably not, to be honest, is it? So we've still got decent defenders, like I say, so I'm happy that I can potentially cover Arsenal defenders' points. And as for Arsenal attackers, Saka and Havertz is all you need. And it's a bit of a differential as well, because a lot of people using wildcards, I've noticed, are going double Arsenal defense. So going for double Arsenal attack instead could be a different route towards some FPL points. So I quite like the idea of trying something different here and going against the crowd and seizing an opportunity that I believe has presented itself by going for someone like Havertz. Now, Solanke is the other player I really like, and I would be very tempted to, instead of doing the Isak to Havertz move, to do Isak to Solanke. However, I definitely recognise that Solanke would be more of a longer term pick. He would be a pick to use up until around game week 12, whereas Havertz feels a little bit shorter term. But I always seem to go for the long-term picks and ignore points that are available in the immediate future. So I do want to try, at least for some of my transfers, seize an immediate opportunity. Now, Mbeumo works both ways. He seizes an immediate opportunity against the likes of West Ham and Wolves at home, but his fixtures are great for the next 10-11 game weeks. So he is a short-term and a long-term great pick. Havertz, more a short-term pick. But that said, there is nothing wrong with me saying, let's go for Havertz now, let's see how many points we can pick up, and then maybe we move to a Solanke after a couple of weeks. There'll be no problem with doing that. In particular, Spurs' fixtures do look better from around game week 8, so that would work really, really well as well. As for my captain, guys, Haaland would be the captain, Saka would be the vice-captain, and this is what my team would look like for Game Week 6, which I genuinely believe, if we don't get any Raya news, because that would be the only thing that changes my mind on this, I think this team, for a non-wildcard team, actually looks brilliant. Like, really, really strong. It's almost a wildcard team already. The only differences are maybe Raya instead of Henderson or Gabriel instead of Robertson. Outside of that, all of these players are the kind of players that people are picking on wildcards anyway. So I'm really fortunate to be in a very strong position right now, and saving that wildcard feels very good, and we're going to be able to attack later on with that wildcard and hopefully maintain from now and just steal the march on everyone else when the wildcard does come into play. I'm thinking around game week 12 for what I currently have. But let me show you some other stuff here, guys. So we're back on the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool. And remember, guys, this is your last chance to get 50% off your full subscription and the money back if you don't win your mini league deal. Don't forget it, guys. But yes, this is a perfect opportunity for me to show you kind of what I'm thinking, what kind of moves I could be making, and how I can plan for the future here and make sure we're keeping a high team rating whilst doing that. If you're on a wild card right now, by the way, guys, make sure you are getting your team rating at the very least, because it's a good way of kind of figuring out if your wild card team looks good or not. But the Mbeumo transfer, like I said, has already been made. Small regret about that one, maybe. I definitely think Mbeumo's the better pick, but Jota would have been okay to keep for Game Week 6, in my opinion. Isak has got to go. He's the #1 priority transfer out. And Havertz is actually one of my AI suggestions for a replacement here. If I was to do that, then I couldn't afford to do my -4 to get Raya in, because Raya is just a little bit more expensive there at 5.6 million currently. So that is a bit of an issue. If I did want to keep the Raya option open, then going for Solanke would probably be the way to do it. Like I said, he is another player I like the look of. And that would leave me enough money in the bank to do the Raya move. And that would be a -4 to bring my team to something like this. Obviously, until I know for certain, or unless I know for certain that Raya is available, I'm not going to do that move. And I want to make sure I'm buying at least one Arsenal player. One of them's it's going to be either Havertz or Raya, basically. If I go for Raya, it will be a -4, and I'll take the Solanke. There are some other kind of moves that open up if I do go for Solanke. If we just cast our eyes to game week 7. So actually, let's just save that first, make transfers with Havertz in. We'll move to game week 7. And if I go for Havertz and I want to replace Eze next week, and I have to acknowledge the possibility that I am going to sell Eze next week, the options kind of are Maddison, really. That's kind of it. I'd actually have 7.8 in the bank, and that would allow me to go to Maddison, and then I would still at least have some Spurs cover. The Spurs look good in game week 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 there. Game week 12 against Man City, that's when I'd be looking to wildcard anyway, so that would be no problem whatsoever there. So that is a potential move I can make. If instead of Havertz, I had Solanke, I would open up a few more options. So it would give me 8.2. And if I had 8.2 and I was looking for a midfielder here for 8.2, then suddenly more players come into play, like Luis Diaz, who's 7.9 at the moment. If Bruno Fernandes dropped in price, he's 8.3. So actually I would be able to afford that because I would have exactly 8.3 in the bank, actually. So yeah, I would be able to get Bruno Fernandes as well there if I went for Solanke. If we took it a step further and, instead of Havertz, instead of Solanke, we went for a Wood, for example, in this game week. So let's just put Wood in. It could also be Calvert-Lewin, to be fair. That would leave me 9.6 in the bank. And that would allow me to go, instead of Eze, we would be able to go in game week 7 to Foden, which is quite crazy. To be able to afford Foden, to get him in the team, he would be a real differential. Do I have the trust in Foden yet, though? I'm not sure. And it would mean going for Wood instead of Havertz or Solanke. And more importantly, it would mean going with single Arsenal for the next 4, game week 6 and 7, which is just not something I want to do. So going back to the original plan, I think Havertz, if I am going for Havertz for this game week, in game week 6, then game week 7, I would probably be looking at bringing in Maddison. I think he would be a really nice replacement. By the way, his numbers are excellent. Just looking through the Opta stats here, this is looking pretty decent, to be fair. This is per 90 as well here. 0.28 XG per 90, 0.54 XA per 90. We're looking at getting an attacking return 2 out of 3 games for him, which is very, very nice indeed. And we know when he's in good form, he just keeps going. But that is my current thinking, guys. I think this plan, this strategy works. Very fortunate to be able to save my wild card for this situation and just continue to go through with the free transfers and see where I end up, because I'm feeling positive. The season starts now. It really, really does. Guys, make sure you are checking out Fantasy Football Hub using the link in the description. It is your last chance. Please don't forget. Please don't miss out on this deal. I am going to keep advertising them next week anyway, but there's going to be a worse deal for you. So just do it now. If you're thinking about it, you're serious about your FPL, just do it. Come on, guys. You won't regret it. I've been using these tools for years, and I love them. And I know you will too. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you drop a like. Do subscribe if you're new around here. Check out another video. This is the one YouTube thinks you'll like. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.